And so I wanted to back up. What else do you need?
Basically doing the whole transition from, being the Echo mom to being in business again, and sort of having to do the like middle ground. My business is my stuff, and personal stuff is personal stuff type.
Oh, you mean planning? Oh,
Deeper than that.
Deeper planning.
Yes.
I like the phrase. That could be a book title, Deeper Planning. A new tape series, Deeper and Deeper Planning. Okay, we're going to start out with the unconscious portion of the day. So what I'm going to ask you to do is put your feet on the floor, and I'm going to ask you to put your notebook down for a minute. This is not note stuff. This is the other mind, the other mind. So since you have not done any NLP, you probably haven't done any trance work either. Okay, why don't you come and sit next to me? My favorite thing. I'm going to push this chair. It doesn't have wheels on it, so I kind of have to.
I listen to you.
No, move forward. I'm going to move this up a bit. See, the wheels are taped so that you won't roll away. I've had problems with that in the past. Sometimes when I smack people in trance, their chair rolls away. Let me turn this way. Okay, and you guys can just follow along, but keep your feet on the floor and try to keep your hands so your fingers aren't locked together. Just rub your thighs a little bit like that. Hands, one hand forward, one hand back, one hand forward, one hand back, just like that. So they rotate. Heat up your legs a little bit. Okay. And can you see me without your glasses?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well, that's good.
Put down.
Just hook it on your shirt. That's good. There's really not going to be that much to see. See, my way of putting people in trance is really not that sophisticated. I just look at them and start to go into a trance. And I breathe at the same rate as them. And already you can tell your vision is beginning to tunnel a little bit because you can feel the effect of it. I'm like a trance machine. And if you look me in the eye, that's right. Now take a deep breath in through your mouth and slowly let it out through your nose. Your nose, that's the other device. You don't have to close your eyes yet. I'll tell you when that's time. What I'm going to do is lower my state of consciousness. I'm very good at this. And as I do, you're going to begin to relax. You'll just relax your forehead, your chin, your arm muscles a little bit. That's right. And as you listen to me, that's right, and keep looking, I'm going to go deeper and deeper into a state. And I've done this so much, I can actually see a meter next to you and read your brain waves. I've been at this for 50 years. And I found it's very easy for people because it's all about concentration. If you're a person who concentrates well, going into a relaxed state is not that hard. You just have to know what to relax. You relax your jaw muscles a little bit. You relax your cheek muscles. You relax your forehead. And you even relax your legs and you wiggle your toes a little bit. And it's important to smile because this is supposed to feel good. This isn't supposed to be scary. I know I can be a scary guy, but you'll know the difference. When I'm scary, you won't need an interpreter. I turn into something that's like a raging bull all at once, but I have no reason to do that. We're here to have fun and relax. So just smile a little bit. If it's a good smile, according to my wife, you show teeth. That's a smile. And if you smile and you keep looking at me, see, now you floated up a little bit. Now we're going to float down. Here we go. And I'm going to go really deeper and deeper this time. Because what we're going to do is move from the front of our mind to the back. Because unconsciously, there's so much for you to learn about. There's so many things that you can do well. You could close your eyes now. That's right. Just drift inside, keep relaxing, listening to the sound of my voice. Because you, like everybody else here, wants things to get better. Now, there's a great thing about the mind is the conscious mind, you can make a picture on purpose. You could make a picture of yourself relaxing in your mind. And if it's the same size as you are and you look at yourself relaxing, your shoulders relaxing, your chest relaxing, your breathing starting to slow down, your legs relaxing, all the way down to your toes, and you feel yourself just drift down and relax, because there's nothing to do here yet other than to relax a little bit, to let yourself drift down inside, and to begin to speak to yourself inside your own head with a voice that's a little sleepy, but instead we're going to count. We're going to go 10 and drift down a little bit more. 9. Drift down a little bit more still. Because still learning and still understanding. 8. 7. 6. And the nice thing about it is your blood pressure lowers, your nervous system calms, because there's nothing to do here other than feel good. The reason I like people to start with a smile is it releases endorphins and a little bit of what's called oxytocin. It's a big name for a neurotransmitter that makes us feel a little bit more playful and makes it so we can pattern better. At the moments in life when we have the wrong feeling, as we went around the room, most of you were talking about how you have the wrong feeling at the wrong time. It's the most common thing of all. It should be number 4 on that list that somebody brought up. Because what happens is if your brain is all over the place and you're not focusing your attention, if you're feeling small when you ought to be feeling big, the thing is that you've learned through the neurosynapses that you've built in your brain for a whole lifetime to do this automatically. It's as automatic as a handshake, a head nod, blinking your eyes, all of those things which we can do voluntarily. We can do them on purpose, but we can also do them without even thinking about them. They become automated over the years because we've learned to do them unconsciously. You're unconscious now, learning to do things differently. So what we're going to think for ourselves in our mind for a moment is, what's the feeling that's coming up too often automatically? I'm feeling distracted, feeling small, feeling that something's going to be hard. See, if you have the right determined state, see, I always feel determination is underestimated. I remember a psychologist saying to me so many years ago, I was doing a trance with somebody, putting them deeper and deeper. And the psychologist said, can you help him lift his self-esteem? And I thought, what the hell does that mean? And he said, well, if he had more confidence, he would be able to do what he does better. And I said, well, yeah, confidence is great, but wouldn't it be better if he felt determined? Now, I know each and every one of you somewhere in your life has felt incredibly strong determination. And if you go back and for just an instant, remember what that felt like. See what you saw when you were there. Make a big picture and step inside it and let that determined feeling come up your spine, into your jaw, and pay attention to the 2 points underneath your eye sockets and just focus on them. You'll feel a moment of determination. And remember it, because as it spins and moves through your body, spreads out to your fingertips, it's in your knuckles and your joints and your feet. It's a big feeling. The big feeling of determination is what will help you to be a better planner. How do you focus your attention? By keeping your eye on the prize, so to speak. Going into the future and seeing yourself in the future, being better at whatever it is that was on your list than you are now. It's just that simple. You need a big, bright, shiny picture that you can look at in your head so that you feel so determined that when you close your eyes, you see that picture and you become determined to become that person. You have to feel desire, determination, or wanton disregard for the impossibilities that the rest of the world will impose upon you. Oh, it would be hard. Oh, it would be difficult. Not at your age. Yada, yada, yada. It's the song a lot of people sing to you. But if you look at yourself being the person you want to be, and you feel real determined, and you spin that feeling up, and you feel desire, you go, I want to be her. I want to be him. This is going to be me. And you look at that picture and you begin to see how you move, how you walk, how you talk, all those wonderful things. It tells your unconscious now that this is important. This is a goal. You see, a lot of people tell me on this planet, with close to 7 billion people on it, that they can't find the right person. Well, you have to start by looking. You have to start by having some idea where to go and what to do. You can't find the right person for a job. They can't find the right person as a mate. They can't find the right person. They can't find the part of a person to do a contract with. They can't find new clients. They can't find customers. There's always persons out there. But if you change the way you act, and that's done by changing the way you feel. You change the way you think, it changes how you feel, and therefore changes what you're capable of doing and who on this planet you're capable of attracting, influencing. You have to believe with every fiber of your soul that things are coming your way. This has been really thwarted in the age of the virus attack. A lot of people have had their businesses, like me, ripped from underneath them. Opportunities have disappeared, but they're out there in the haze. In the haze, and they always have been, and they always will be in your life. That when you look through the haze of possibility, when you see yourself being more successful, and you see yourself diligently doing the things that need to be done to get from here to there. Because when you see yourself doing things you haven't done yet, well, there's a lot of steps between there and now. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. You have to go and reverse engineer. You have to go from the future backwards towards the present. See, if you're going to meet somebody new, where are you going to find them? Well, you may have to talk to people who know where to find them. If you're looking for new customers, you have to find out where people are getting their customers from. Those things have changed over time. Now people meet on Facebook. I'm not much of a social media guy myself, but then you can hire people to do that for you. See, to me, what's important is when you make contact, that you realize if you're going to be better with people, you need to smile. You need to be able to smile with a special kind of smile, one that chides them a little bit. It's a special word in English. It means when you tease people in a way where they know that you're teasing, that the teasing isn't brutal, it's not putting someone down, but it's in constantly and ironically implying, I know you can do better than this. I know you're smarter than this. And once you do that, you can build a strong connection. Because constantly I meet people, and no matter how depressed they are or how down they are, I know they all know they can do better. And when they start doing better, then they will. You start by believing things, and it influences every fiber of your soul. Your fingertips, your toes, your nose, absolutely everything. It radiates from your skin out. It sends energy into the void of the universe. And when communicating with somebody through the computer, over the telephone, anyway, and planning for future events to come out your way. I'm a firm believer in Earth Coincidence Control Center. I like to think I run the place sometimes, that when I need coincidences to work for me and things, I start believing that it will, that things are going to work out, and you believe hard enough and you do the right things, then everything starts to come together. This is called planning. Planning is when you believe in the future. You believe and you smile when you look at that future. If you don't smile when you look at it, you can't really pierce the veil into the new possibilities. You see, opportunity is there. The universe itself is infinite. When they asked Einstein, what would you like people to learn about the universe? He said, it provides everything and always will. And when you think about the possibilities, your brain, which has millions and billions of neurons, each talking to 10 to 100 others, it means the possibility of what you can think about is literally limitless. Now, that can either be a good or a bad thing. Your mind could be jumping all over the place, so it must be given purpose. One of the great things about a trance is to establish a purpose. When you think of who you want to be and how you want to feel, now it's time to replace that old feeling with a new feeling. This is where you say to yourself, in your most convincing voice, this will be mine. And you get a generally good idea of where you want to go. You smile, you fill yourself with determination, and you start to ask the question, where do I start? What steps can I take? What do I need to find out? What do I need to know next? Because learning is ever so important. Part of the reason I'm a firm believer in relaxation is that I have seen miracles upon miracles. I've seen people in the right state of mind cure themselves of the incurable. That maybe doctors tell you something will never work, but if you believe it enough, you can find a way. That if you believe in yourself enough, you can let the bad feelings drift away. So if you have a feeling you're too small, you have a feeling you're too this, you have a feeling of hesitation, as I like to say, you let it drift away. Now, tilt your head up on your shoulders. You don't want to stress those shoulder muscles. There's a place when you tilt your head back and then forward where you have a zero relationship to gravity. There's a perfect place. If your head goes to the right and to the left, there's a point where it sits perfectly on your shoulders, requires no effort, because it's perfectly balanced with gravity. When you find that point, and you take a deep breath in, and you let it out through your nose and relax, your shoulders will relax, your arms will relax. You can drift down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as you relax the rest of the way and drift down, you're in a state where you get to learn, really learn something of importance. Now it's time to begin to see something in your mind. Just a light. It can be a white light, a red light, a green light, a blue light, a thin line, a glowing bulb. Doesn't matter what it is. I want you to put it there, and as the lights come down in the room, I want you to plan to begin to see that light growing. And as it begins to grow brighter and brighter inside your head, I want something amazing to come out of it. I want you to find a past memory where you surprised yourself, where you did a little better than you thought you could do. And when you find that memory, capture that feeling so you can plan to have it more often. Because planning on surprising success with determination is a solid foundation on which to move into the future, to learn to do new things, to understand new things. Slowly, slowly, drifting inside, let all of this fade away so that you can bring it up and turn it on when you need to. Everything needs an on switch and an off switch. You need to have an on switch to relax. And when you turn it off, you need to have a place to go. I like going into utter and overwhelming determination of purpose. When I work with a client, I don't think a lot. I haven't got time for it. I listen to every bit of and every single word with each intonation. I listen to the beginning of the word and the end. When you say a word like independent, I listen to all of the things that the tongue can do. In, pen, den, den. Each of those is a different movement of the tongue. And as they talk to me, I listen to what slides by and what is done precisely. Because in a word, it will tell me so much about them. The attention they pay attention to, words which have they are to understanding, allows me to be very precise in my communication to the conscious mind and to the unconscious processes controlling millions and billions of neurocortical pathways simultaneously. Understanding this about relaxing now, about thinking clearer, about seeing new things in your future is important, so that as you drift down into this trance, it's just a way of concentrating. Because when you concentrate on what's important, it becomes more important. And the more important it becomes, the clearer and more bright your future will be. Now, even though it's early in the day, I'm going to talk about tonight because I have some idea of things we will talk about this morning and this afternoon. When we sleep and when we dream, whether we dream in our sleep at night or we just have a dream, a daydream in a trance, it's not different. Time becomes relative. We become something where time moves by very fast or it moves by very slow. When time is going fast, typically we're having fun and we're doing things and we're chatting and we're talking, and time seems to slip by. At a party, you're talking to somebody, you look at your watch, and an hour has flown by before you've known it. And when this happens, the earth isn't changing its speed. The sun isn't moving faster or slower, but your perception of it changes, which is a great thing to understand as a person. Because in your dreams, in the states where time is distorted, whether it be fast or slow or fast, the more you slow down time, the more time you have to make better decisions. Because in essence, that's what I've been talking about. The machine inside your head that decides how things are going to go, what you're going to do, what you're going to eat. You see, even with a GPS, you have to decide where you're going before you punch it in. The brain has to do the majority of the work. If you've got 5 stops and you program in 5 stops, you get to pick the order. And you get to make the decisions upon the best way to do things. Or more importantly, a better way to do things. None of you in here are doing things that aren't working. You have things that aren't working as well as you would like them to, but your lives are successful lives. Believe me, things could be much worse. I've had clients over the years that compared to you, boy, trouble, trouble, trouble. However, it doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. To me, there's always things can get better. When I built models in the 70s, I looked at them in the 80s and said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I revamped everything and found faster, quicker, better ways of doing things. I did it again in the 90s. I did it again when the century changed. They went, it's a new millennium. So I came up with new ways of doing things. People even came to me and they said, well, this isn't the real NLP. The real NLP is what you did in the 70s. You know, we're leaving because you're changing everything. And now everything it doesn't look the same. It's not familiar. Well, Virginia Satir said to me almost 55 years ago, when I asked her, I said, what's important about people? She said, well, you have to understand that the strongest instinct in all human beings is to make things familiar. It's what the brain is for. We try to make everything familiar. Even though you've never seen these chairs before, you do exactly what they were and how they worked. We generalize from something that's similar to making it the same. Well, there's certain things for which that works really well, and there's a point in our lives where it doesn't work well. And it doesn't mean it works badly, it means it could work better. You can find more freedom, sometimes by letting go of the old and embracing evolutions of it. Adaptation is what human beings do. We do it over generations, just like all species do. But unlike most species, we do it in a lifetime, over and over again. The situation changes, and we adapt to it, or we don't. And when we don't, that's when we get into trouble. Now, Mark, sitting here in front of me right now, is not familiar, but he's doing exquisitely well. In a moment, I'm going to reach over, Mark, and I'm going to take a hold of your wrist, just like this. I'm going to pull it up, and it's going to get stiff. And that's because I told it to, and because it knows how to do that. Stiff, stiff, stiff. And I'm going to lift up this finger, and I'm going to tell you you're unconscious. Just let go of it. Let go of it. Your unconscious can signal me yes by moving that finger up completely unconsciously. So I'm going to ask your unconscious if it understands. That's right. And then let it go all the way down. And I'm going to ask your unconscious to give me a full response. Does it understand how to say yes? Because his conscious mind does. That's right. There you go. That's perfect. Now, too much conscious mind means you move too consciously. Unconscious movement is a little more subtle than that. So I'd like to see that subtle response. Let your unconscious find it, and let me ask your unconscious, does it know of something that Mark really needs to switch the feelings? He's got a feeling that gets in the way of his life being as wonderful as it could. All right. Now I'm going to ask your unconscious to do something which is eminently qualified to do, more than I am. Nobody knows you, Mark, better than you and your unconscious. I want your unconscious to pick a wonderful feeling and take that old bad feeling and see the stuff that happens that makes the bad feeling, only stick another feeling in there. And when you do, it's going to seem silly at first, so I want you to giggle. That's right, a big giggle. Really giggle. Come on, you can giggle better than that. I like giggling. Giggling is a sign that you're getting smarter. We always look at stuff when we do something stupid and we notice it, we giggle. That's what we do, because what you were doing was not nearly as smart as what you're doing now. So when you do it, giggle. And when you giggle, you feel better. Because I have a feeling there's a lot of giggling that should be going on in this room over the next couple of days, because the smarter we get, the more free we become as human beings. Now I'm going to grab your wrist, I'm going to shake it twice, and you're going to drop into a deep trance. And you're going to dream a dream where you see yourself behaving more the way you would like to. 1, 2, sleep. That's the stuff. Little dream, have a dream of how things really ought to be, just for a minute or two, and look at it, analyze it, decide if you like it, and if it's a goal, make it big and bright and desire it. And your unconscious will get you more there than I ever could. Now, I'm going to count to 3. I want you all to wiggle your toes, because in a minute I'm going to have you open your eyes. And when I do, I want you to wake up one little bit with each count. And when you come out of this trance, I want you to have an unexplainable sense of well-being. And I want you to smile, wiggle those toes. 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. You did very well, Mark. You can leave it right there, it's fine. So you haven't done any hypnosis? I'm not sure I believe you. I always get people that tell me, I'd like to try that hypnosis stuff. Find out if I could be hypnotized. Yeah, if you can concentrate, you can be hypnotized. You know, I even hypnotize my dogs sometimes. Just requires the right tone of voice. Sometimes they listen to me talk and they just drift off. Unless I say the word outside, that wakes them up. They like to go outside. Okay, so where was I? Let me ask you, what's on your list, dear?
I want to stop smoking.
Okay, could you speak a little louder?
I want to stop smoking.
Oh, you want to stop smoking?
I stopped yesterday, but I want to continue being stop smoking.
Yeah, well, if you stop smoking, it has to be longer than a day or it's not really stopping. Okay. What makes you want to smoke?
The feeling in the chest.
Yeah, that's called addiction.
Yeah.
That's the name of that. And it's going to get stronger in the next couple of days. Did you know that?
I was hoping it would.
Well, you know what? In the minute you feel it, do you know what it means? See, a lot of people think it means I want a cigarette. And what it really means is you're doing absolutely the right thing. You are this much closer to being a non-smoker. Can you see yourself having quit and walking through the room and people smoking and not wanting a cigarette?
Yeah, I was a non-smoker for 5 years.
That's not what I asked you.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
I can see myself.
What?
I can see myself.
Yeah. Not a younger you where you didn't smoke, but the you that's going to be doing this tomorrow and the next day and for the rest of your life. Okay. When you look at that picture, do you want to be her?
Yeah.
Because she's going to have a little trouble in the next week, right? Her skin is going to go, cigarettes, cigarettes. And when you feel that, you have 2 choices. 1, you either break down and smoke, or 2, you look at that picture and you want it more than a cigarette. So you have to look at that picture and really want it. When you look at it, do you want it enough? It goes like this: cigarette, happy, healthy girl. Which one do you want more?
Happy, healthy girl.
Happy, healthy girl. Because every moment, that's the choice. The choice is am I going to feel helpless? Is this little stick of bullshit going to be stronger than I am?
I did stuff before,
Mhm.
and I did a good job. And I think where I failed is when something happens and I started it again. I feel bad and
Oh, okay. Well, this is planet Earth. Shit's going to happen. Okay? I guarantee you. So it's not, while I'm having good days, everything is okay. You have to think that the world is collapsing around you and still want to be this person. You know, you can't go, oh crap, my boyfriend was mad at me the other day. I think I'll smoke cigarettes and it will make everything okay. That, because you know what that's called, right? Stupid. Okay. And you have to think of it that way because you have to go, if you quit for one day, then tomorrow is just another day, another day, another day. And if you light that fucking cigarette, the minute it comes up and starts to move towards you, if your brain isn't going, this is so stupid, 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 right? Smart, 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 stupid, 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 smart, 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 stupid, 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 then you'll start again. And, then you'll have to have low self-esteem. You'll have to go to therapy for the rest of your life. It's very involved, right? And then every time a commercial comes on about smoking, you'll go, oh shit, I could have quit that time. I could have, and you can wish in one hand and shit in the other, and you go, whack, only one of them sticks, Then you'll be doing one of those commercials. I should have quit smoking, but now I'm on oxygen. Which girl do you want to be? You want to be the happy, healthy one. You got all this good stuff going on in your life. Plus, you don't want to be a stinky puss either. That was the thing that got me to quit when I realized what I smelled like to other people. I had no idea until I quit, and then I went, holy shit, I couldn't even go in my own closet. My dog told me all about it. My dog went, just one of those things. So anything else?
yes. Oh gosh, I have to look at the list. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I am. You might as well.
I want to move on. I broke up with my boyfriend and I can't. I keep on thinking of being sad about it. Yes.
You broke up with him, and now you're sad about it?
He broke up with me.
Oh, he broke up with
We
you.
broke up.
Would you really want to be with somebody that would break up with you?
No, this is stupid.
What?
Stupid. This is stupid.
Oh, it's stupid.
But
And yet you keep thinking about it. Okay. And when you think about it, how big is the picture?
like the size of this room.
Good Lord, that's a big picture. Because you have to make really big pictures to feel bad about shit. That's some kind of rule. So what am I going to tell you to do? You already know what I'm going to tell you to do, don't you?
To make the pictures.
Well, I'm going to tell you to put a border around the picture. So you don't know what I'm going to tell you to do. Well, it's too big. It doesn't have a border. If you're going to make a big bad picture, you got to put a border around it. What's your favorite color? All right, put a pink border around it. And then as the picture shrinks down to the size of a nickel, he'll become gay. That's a less painful picture, isn't it?
Now you don't want to back, do you?
He's a special guy. What?
What about the other pictures?
What about what?
Other pictures
What other pictures?
of you.
Do they have borders around them? See, if you do 3, the rest will take care of themselves. You take the big giant picture, you put a border around it, and you go shrink it down, and then turn it white, and then turn it back to the picture and turn it black, and do it this fast, just like that. You got it? All right, do it all at once. Big picture, border, shrink it down, this big. Okay, another big picture, border around it, shrink it down. Shrink it down.
I'm looking for a picture.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to find other pictures.
Oh,
Can't find any.
oh, did you lose them? I'm sorry, you want me to put them back? Surely there's something else you could think about and feel bad. I'm sorry, I'm playing with you. So how much time were you going to spend doing this, do you think? In the course of a day, how many times did you make this picture? Or one of these pictures?
20 times an hour.
20 times an hour? What do you think, 20 seconds a picture?
I would waste my whole life.
Oh, you would waste your whole life doing it. Well, look at all the time you get back then. Good Lord. What are you going to do with all that time? You're going to get a new boyfriend and break up with him and make new pictures? That sounds like a bad plan. What do you think you're going to do with the time? We've got to do something with it.
I have to come up with something creative.
Okay, you have 60 seconds to plan your whole future. How about you, dear?
I feel like I found, when you were doing the trance, I found some amazing stuff. I was missing, remember we were talking earlier about, I have strategies that I bring to fruition and other things where I like half do them.
Yeah, that was you, I remember.
So I feel like I'm a little bit more fluent in the details were super overwhelming, and so it's about structure and clarity.
You mean it wasn't simple enough, or it was too complex, or?
I think it was too complex because there was no structure. It's almost like if you took like all the details and just threw them out like confetti. They're everywhere.
Holy shit, that sounds painful.
Right, so it's like about creating structure and creating.
That would be like if I took my wife's notebook and cut up all the things and threw it in the air. She would kill me.
And then you're trying to find clarity from all the pieces where it's like, no.
That sounds absolutely way too much fucking work. I'm the guy with little dots and lights, you know. That would be like if somebody threw a broken glass mirror in my head.
Yeah, and so find your reflection. And you're like, how do I find it? In pieces.
Yeah, too much work. So is it clearer now?
It's much clearer.
Okay, well that's good. How about you, Brian?
My fingers are still cold and hurt.
Your fingers are still cold and hurt?
Reynolds. And they're white. And we have this lovely new automobile, and half the time it tells me my hands are not on the steering wheel because bing, bing, bing. I'm going forearm.
That's hysterical. Yeah, so your hands don't heat up?
My fingers are cold all the time, even in a 75-degree room. That's half the reason I mean, it's funny, right? So I go to the MMA gym again, and even when I'm getting my face bashed by a professional fighter, I'm like, yeah, but my hands are warm. My hands are warm. It feels good because it's so freaking hot in that room. It's always like 85 degrees.
I would say sit like this, except that looks weird.
Well, if he has to go someplace and have people smack him in the head to get his hands warm,
It's a whole host of other problems.
that sounds like a lot of fucking work to me.
I know,
you know.
but it's just like it's one of the it's like my hands are never cold there.
What?
My hands are never cold there. But even sitting here all morning, my fingers have been white and cold.
So they're normally not cold?
No, they're regularly cold, like
Oh.
probably a third of the time.
And that's why the car doesn't know you have your hands on the steering.
Yeah, seriously, I'm sitting there with you, and then the light comes on and goes, hey, hands on the wheel, hands loose. It's like, I turn that off.
Have you ever heard of autogenic training?
No.
Okay. Just throw it in your mind, see if you can remember that, because in autogenic training, it's a form of hypnosis from a long time ago. They did this in Switzerland. They literally would get people to heat up one hand and make the other one cold and measure the temperature of them. And I remember it just popped up. It's something I read a long time ago. But where does the cold stop? In other words, does it stop right at your wrist or at your palm or?
The back of the palm, but this isn't very cold. It's really just, you can even see the white.
So the palm of your hand is warm,
Mostly warmer.
warmer, but just the fingers are cold?
Yeah, fingertips. Mostly through here.
Okay, but where does it start? I mean, if you take your finger and you go like this, does it get cold at a certain place?
This is fine. It starts to get cold here.
It starts to get cold in your palm
It starts to get cold here, and it's quite cold from the second knuckle down, as I perceive it.
from the second knuckle
From here.
from here to here. So literally when you cross that knuckle, it gets, the temperature changes as you cross the bend in the knuckle.
Yeah, it feels warm through here. But this is just white tips right now. I can't even get a color change in my fingertips when I squeeze.
That's so cool.
It really is. I mean, it's like if I could turn it into a party trick for free beer, I would. But I haven't figured that one out yet either.
It's like Mr. Freeze. You even kind of look like
Mm-hmm. Why don't you come over here and sit next to me? I just find this fascinating. Jesus Christ, they're little ice cubes,
I know, both of them.
except it's cold all the way down the finger.
I'm just not aware of it much through here.
I know. We could hire him to chill drinks. Would you like that chilled, ma'am? Okay, we're going to try a little experiment because obviously your circulation in your hands sucks. That would be my medical description of it. Okay, give me your hand. Okay, now just look me in the eye. Okay, because we're going to go into a trance enough to control your anatomy because your forearm is not cold. Your hand starts right about here getting cold. So there's a place at which you're not heating it up and you're capable of it. It's just for whatever reason, you're not doing it. It works fine up to here. It goes, we don't need those mitts on the end. We're going to be smacking people with them. So who cares if they're cold or hot? Let's get them cold. We'll ice them out so they're pre-numb, right? Just in case we have to smack anybody. So if we're going to smack Richard, this will already be an ice cube. We won't feel a thing. The knuckles will be fine. Everything will be okay. Okay, here we go. 1. That's right. 2. 3. Sleep. That's right. All the way down. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to ask your unconscious a few questions. And I'm going to do this by stiffening this up, lifting it up here. That's right. Hold that right there. And I'm going to ask your unconscious to answer me yes by lifting this finger up. Okay. So does your unconscious understand? That's right. A full unconscious response. That's right. Finding the connections. There you go. I can see that's great. Now, I'm going to ask your unconscious if it understood what you said to me and if it's capable of raising the temperature of this finger. That's right, a full response. Finding the connections, there we go. All right, now I'm going to ask your unconscious to start to raise the temperature of that finger, just like it raises your temperature all over the rest of your body. The temperature of your forearm, your chest, your feet, your back, your nose, your cheek muscles, the little icicles on the end of your hand, right? We just want to see if you can do one finger. That's right, raise it up and raise your finger as you raise the temperature. So The higher the temperature, the higher the finger. A full unconscious response now. That's right. Here we go. Even more and more. That's the stuff. Even more and more. That's right. All the way down to the fingernail, raising it up, getting it warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer still. My goodness. The difference between these two fingers is incredible. That's right. Even more. Heat it up even more. Double that. Double it again. Heat that finger up. Finger controls. That's right. Heat it up, heat it up, heat it up. Almost like your finger has a fever. Heat it up. Heat it up still, heat it up still, heat it up still. That's right. Oh, there we go. Heat it up even more. Well, that's right. The difference between those two fingers. But we need it even more and more and more and more. It's just not warm enough in here. It's not warm enough. That finger needs to be warmer, warmer, warmer. That's right. Finding the way to open up the blood vessels, the capillaries, getting that temperature control down that one finger. Because I'll tell you, if you can do one finger, there's no reason why you couldn't do the whole hand. So what we're going to do, just for this once, is take all the coldness out of this hand, move it over to the other hand. You can let the other hand be cold and see if we can take this cold pinky and start to heat that up, heat up this finger. It's almost like if you were to imagine under your hand a little fire, just cooking underneath there, heating it up and cooking it and heating it and heating it and heating it up almost like a radiator, generating heat, making it warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer still, so that you start to train yourself to think unconsciously, that hand has to be warm. And if you let that hand get warm, of course, that means you could begin to heat up any part of your body. People who have great hypnotic control imagine a fire. Sometimes they imagine a hot coal and burn their finger on it and get a blister. There's no reason why you can't heat up your body in the location you want. But if you keep saying, my hands are cold, then your unconscious is going to listen to you, and you're going to end up with ice cubes on the end of your wrists. That's just how it works. But if you now go, well, if I can heat up this hand more, because it's already warmer, you can feel it yourself. But fingertips are still a little cold, though. We want to heat those puppies up. Make that flame underneath your hand bigger and brighter and make it get hotter and hotter and hotter, and flow more and more blood down faster and faster, and make those capillaries work. Stretch and wiggle your fingers a little bit, heat them up. Feel that flame just like you would if you had your hands over a flame. You move your hand a little bit and feel that flame licking on it every now and then. A little hot. There we go. And now they're starting to get out. They were so cold, it's taken a while to heat them up. There we go. Ah, that's good. That one's getting better. And this one's that one's still a little cold. Got to count your pinky as a finger. That's right. Heat that puppy up a little bit. We want to open up that circulation, get that blood flowing, and you need to pay attention to your fingertips. A lot of people don't pay attention to their fingertips. They're very important. When you go to reach for something, there's a moment of anticipation before you touch something. Now, your index middle finger here, my finger is just about 1/4 of an inch away. Reach out with your touch and touch my finger. You don't have to move your hand. You can feel it's there even though it's not touching. And if you stretch out through your finger, you open up the capillaries in your skin. Now I'm going to touch the next 2 fingers. I have my thumb and my finger spread between yours. They're ever so close. I could touch in an instant if I wanted. Feel my fingertips next to yours. Stretch out and feel the blood flowing through your fingers. Feel the vessels opening up and feel the fire lighting up inside your hand, making it warmer. That's right, and warmer still. Now, I'm going to count to 3, and I want you to come out of trance for a second. 1, 2, 3. Your hand is still cold on the palm, but your fingers are warmer. I didn't do your thumb. If you feel your fingertips and begin to open them up and really begin to feel your hands, see, if you've been doing martial arts, you spend a lot of time whacking shit with your hands, right? Which is not really good for your circulation. But you want to sensitize your hands when you're not hitting things. When you're hitting things, you don't really want to sensitize your hands. But the rest of the time, you want to be able to feel your fingertips like this, right next to each other, and to begin to start thinking warm thoughts and imagining things around it so that you can increase the blood flow. And I'm sure if you ask my wife, she knows other shit you can take and swallow and pump and dip your hands in. Nobody knows more about nutrition and stuff. She gave me a bottle this morning of so many vitamins, I was afraid to take them. I thought I would burp and fill the room up with gas. So I'm going to take them when I get back in the house. Because if you take the right nutrients and you move your hand in the right way, squeezing it isn't necessarily going to help. See, a lot of people try to do this to get warmer. It's by relaxing that you open up the capillaries. And the more you relax this finger, see, it's already doing the other hand too. See, it's not as cold anymore, the fingertips, right? And you got to think about the palm and the back of your hand and feel like a hand above your hand, just almost touching it, right? So that you begin to pay attention to the surface of the skin. The more you pay attention to the surface of the skin, the more we can begin to get a flow going down here, so that you don't walk around with little icy hands. I've heard girls don't like that very much. I used to sleep with somebody that had ice feet and would touch me with their ice feet to warm them up in the middle of the night. They would take their ice feet and go, and they go, my feet feel warmer now. I, in the meanwhile, was biting my tongue. So anyway, I would concentrate on that a whole lot, especially while you're here. And your unconscious is close enough to hear me. It's time to open this up. This is not something I would do for a long time, have ice hands. Right? Might be good for a fight, but not for the rest of life. When the fighting and the practicing is over, you look at your hands and you go warm and whole and blood flowing. And relax your hands. Because, we want you to be able to fight well, but not with yourself. Okay? Okay, according to the law of Marriott Hotel, now is when we are supposed to feed you in 5 minutes. So since we're going to eat in 5 minutes, I have time for just one more.
You looked right at me.
Right, sit down, Gwen. Everything is fine.
You looked right at me, so I'm sorry. I look at visual cues.
What?
You were looking right at me.
I was looking at you. Actually, I was looking at her, but she knew exactly what to do. So, what's on your list, Gwen?
I would say prioritizing an organization, because I've given myself a new job and I thought well, for a while in retirement, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. That's really being brutally honest. But then things started happening. Actually, I started making things happen and he helped me do that. So, and now my life is really busy, but I'm not as organized as I used to be. Well, actually, that's arguable. But anyway, so I'd like to be a little bit more organized.
I like my marriage. I'm not saying a damn word.
He would live in a Japanese dojo if I let him. That's accurate.
I agree with you. So you don't think you're organized enough?
Oh, if you saw my desk. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I might have something to talk about with the LaVals.
I'm sorry?
Well, you said they're still moving their shit.
Well, it's in pods. They have people coming in and pulling it out. They were in the house for years and they're hanging everything on the wall one by one and doing everything methodically. And they've done the downstairs, and now they have to go to the upstairs. Which is going to be John's, I don't know what you would call it, man cave or something. You know, he's got a couple thousand square upstairs, and he has to get all the stuff up there. In his case, that will be printers, and you know, he's the guy that gets up at 4 a.m. and starts answering emails. He's very organized. And so what makes you think, because you seem like you're pretty organized.
I'm organized up here most of the time, but I think, well, I would definitely say, you know, that meme joke about Dory, look, another project, I could do that. That's me. And frequently I find myself in circumstances where I think I'm the most competent person here to be able to do that, so I will go ahead and make that happen. But then I just added something else. But here's the thing is, I actually do prioritize pretty well. I know what like needs to be done by this date. Deadlines are good for me. But then it's like little projects that I thought, like the thing that you think, oh, in retirement, I can do this. I can finally sort through this. And I haven't done that shit at all. And I really need to think about, should I even do it or should I just toss it? That's probably the case.
She was looking, I said, I like my marriage. I don't know why you're looking at me here.
When she said toss it, she wasn't talking about you.
No,
She was
no,
looking at the
I wasn't talking
picture.
about you.
She was looking at the picture of the project, and you thought she was, I should just toss it, you know. I think on that note, maybe we should take a little break for lunch. We're going to take an hour and a half for lunch, and I'll start